Welcome back to Self-Reliance. Today my wife and I were going to be doing some more waxed cheese. So we did this, I don't know what, like 6-9 months ago? Quite a while ago.
It was delicious.
Like a year ago. It was delicious. We both really liked it. This time we're going to change around a little bit. We've got some real cheesecloth here. So this is just some super fine cloth here that we're going to be wrapping around it. And we've got an idea of how we want to do it, and we're just winging this. We've got some zip ties here that we're going to use to tie this stuff on, and some white vinegar over here to dip it in. And here's our cheese. This is a little bit, this is some medium cheddar here, and this is what we're going to be waxing.
We bought 2 blocks to do that with, right?
Yes, yep, we got 2 blocks of cheese. So our previous experiment worked really well, actually. We had a couple of them, the wax on it pulled off and caused some issues with spoilage and things like that. They all seemed to leak oil, and rotating it really didn't seem to help at all. So I'm not really going to bother with rotating it. Actually, I think rotating it made it a little bit worse because it, in the process of me handling it and moving it around, I ended up pulling the wax off of it. So we're not going to rotate this. This time we've got this small pot of wax here. You can notice it's actually red this time. Last time it was like kind of a yellowy white. I actually have some waxed cheese that we bought from the store, and I just took that wax and put it in here. So that's another part of this experiment this time, is how reusable is that wax. So I'm going to cut this probably into like fourths or something like that. Let's just cut it right in half so I can get a good balance of that. Okay, and then we've also got some white vinegar here. And last time we dipped that in, and I do think that actually helped to kind of sterilize it. So I'm just going to dip each of these in here and just get it submerged. And this doesn't really seem to affect the flavor later, but I do want to kind of get it a little bit dry. I do know that the water in this does mess with it, and we'll probably just pat these dry with some paper towel or something like that.
I feel like the very outside of it had a mildly vinegary taste when we tasted it.
Yeah.
But just the very outside, it was very mild. It was worth it.
Didn't really impact the flavor much at all, I don't think. Okay, so I'm just going to tap dry these things off here and get back to you. So I've got this on the lowest heat possible right now. I know a lot of people say to use a double boiler, but I never used it, and it always seemed just fine to me. Okay, here's what we got. Turns out you need a big square, much bigger than I thought. I had done a longer one and it didn't quite work. But we're just going to wrap this up like this. And this is hopefully going to reinforce that wax, so when we touch it later, it doesn't cause any issues. So that looks pretty. I actually like that little design on there. Looks good.
Try to get it so there's no air bubbles. You're going to want it to be like touching it right against the cheese.
Yeah, all right, let's grab one of these zip ties. Probably twist it. Yeah, that works really good. Twist it nice and tight.
Push that on.
Yeah. No matter what we do, we're not going to get it quite perfect, but this is way better than last time. Okay, so I just kind of twisted that up to try to get it in there, but it's still got a little bit of stuff hanging off the top of it here, so not quite perfect, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to dip this in and kind of rotate it around a couple sides here. Oh, and I got to try to not touch it to the bottom. I forgot about that because it can kind of cook the cheese if you let it touch the bottom too much. Oh no. Okay, we'll have to get back to you. Have to clean up all this stuff that I just spilled. Dang it. Okay, so cleaning up that sucks, but that's what we got to deal with. So I did spray this little pan over here with a little bit of oil, which is going to help it to not stick. And I'm going to cut up some more of this cheesecloth and get started on the next one. Okay, so we just finished wrapping these other ones up here. We have been having, obviously we don't have enough wax right now, so we've probably got enough, I think, to finish off these ones. So we're going to have to get some more.
Do you want me to dip in a spoon and pour it over the cheese, or is that just way too?
That's actually a good idea. Let's try that. So we're hoping that this cheesecloth really reinforces this wax so it doesn't peel off from the cheese so easily. Let me try and get out of your way.
Yeah, I think with the red wax, we can tell better what area it's covered.
That's true. I didn't even notice that, but you're right.
You can see which places are missing.
Trying to barely touch the bottom really quick so I don't roast this cheese. I ended up doing that last time. All right. I think this first one's probably ready for another layer.
Check out the bottom.
Yeah, look at that. That looks much better than last time. And it's adhering. I can feel how stiff this cheese cloth is here, it feels really stiff.
We just have to make sure to get this top part.
Yeah. So that is what you're gonna do. Unless I want to flip it over. Yeah, go ahead and let's try the dipping thing again. The spoon. Man, we're gonna need a lot more layers. Last time I needed a lot of layers, but we just don't have enough wax. I'm glad we didn't open the other one. We were gonna do 2 blocks of this cheese, but clearly we don't have enough wax. And this cheese wax isn't very cheap either, and it's kind of pricey. But I mean, the cheese ends up tasting delicious, but this isn't really a cost savings right now, but it is nice to be able to have, you know, cheese without a refrigerator. We just set it over and it works just fine. Yeah, so there's that little piece that you can see where it didn't quite get pulled into the bundle, but the wax actually holds it in there. That's pretty cool. Okay. Get this in there real quick.
It's not pretty, but it's functional.
Yeah.
If any artisan cheesemakers out there, don't make fun of us.
I'm sure they're laughing pretty hard. I know I laugh pretty hard watching other people do computer stuff, and they go to Bing to search for Google. It's like the best. Oh, that's the best. Oh. That actually works pretty good. Splashing it on the side there, it really covered up a lot of it. Having the oil, so I sprayed a little bit of just spray oil into this glass that we're holding them on right now, and that helps it so they don't stick so bad. Just barely getting those edges covered. Tilting it kind of. I gotta be careful. I can feel, when I'm doing this, I can feel the wax shifting underneath my fingers, and I gotta be careful not to do that too hard because it's going to definitely peel off what little wax we've got on there. These look kind of like weird little shrunken presents. It's like, I'm trying to think of like, does this look appetizing? It's like, kinda. If you know what's inside, it's kind of appetizing.
It looks like a giant pink starburst.
A giant pink starburst. It kind of does. A shrunken starburst. It's got some issues.
It's not shrunken, it's giant.
Well, it's like shriveled, maybe I should say. That's
okay.
Probably a better word. Shriveled starburst.
A starburst when it's been on the roasting stick and it starts to bubble a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else does starburst over the campfire, but it's delicious.
All right, we're going to just do a couple more layers of that, and we'll get back to you guys. All right, here we go. That is our waxed cheese blocks here. We dipped them a couple more times on these top edges. You can kind of see how dark red this is here, but up here you can still see this kind of orangey yellow. So that's because we didn't have enough wax to dip it into. So I think lesson learned. We need to go buy a pot that we don't care about, and we need to buy a whole lot more wax. I think this was, when I originally bought it, like maybe a pound or 2 of wax. We definitely need probably about 5 pounds or something. A lot more so that we can actually dip. I mean, I'd love to just take a whole block straight from the store and just dip the whole thing in and just be done with it and not have to do these little, I mean, these are kind of nice because this is enough for, you know, I mean, one person could eat this, you know, this is probably good amount for like 2 people, a good amount of cheese. So this is more of a meal worth size, and but it would be much faster to dip the whole things in. But I can definitely feel the strength in this cheesecloth. It's much stronger. So we'll have to see how the tops of these came out. Let me give you guys a bit of a close-up here on these tops. They look a little airy, like it's got a little bit of air in there, but I think the cheese itself is covered. So we're gonna go store these down in our little root cellar and let these cool down. My wife had a really good point. I mentioned that we probably had our wax too hot. I said we should probably have the wax colder so it solidifies instantly. My wife also pointed out that it won't cook the cheese. So I think getting the wax just at melting temperature but no higher would, I think, benefit us a lot. So we'll probably be doing that next time. We're going to order some more cheese wax, and we'll get back to you guys and we'll wax that second block of cheese. Thanks for watching.